Hi, Nadeem here from Smart Riding Gadgets. Today I'm fitting the Alien Rider M2 Pro system. Now this is an absolutely complete system which comprises of the display, tire pressure monitors, front and rear dash cam and blind side detectors which also act as lane change assist as I understand it. So the entire system is going to be fitted. I've already stripped down the GS. I've just taken the tank cover off here in the centre of it, just so I can run the wires up for the cameras and for the display and the power and everything. Now, this is a display and all the wires for everything connects into here, and that is going to go into a little cubby hole here on the bike, which I think I can manage to get them in there. And this is the main part of the wiring, the bit that most people get worried by is the electrics, the actual power part. And even that's, it's just not that difficult. On this one, it is slightly unusual because the yellow one is marked as positive and the red wire as the ACC signal wire. The ACC signal wire is basically the wire that gives ignition switch power, so that when the ignition comes on, this sends a signal, the power sends a signal to the display to turn on. And when it switches off the ignition, it will power it down as well, so that it doesn't stay on and run your battery down. But in any case, it is fairly straightforward to do. And then there's a ground cable which you can ground to the frame or to whatever else you feel like doing. I have a power box fitted, which basically means I can power up to 5 accessories, and that is already ignition switched. So I've already done what you need to do with the ignition switch wire on its own. It's already done. Now, on the BMWs, on the GS and GS Adventures, the 1200 and 1250, there is a little fuse box in here just under the seat, and there's a blue and red cable that you can splice into. So I've already done that for the accessory box, for the power box that I have. So all I have to do now is just put these two, the yellow and the red cable together, and just put them into the positive feed that comes out of the power box and ground it. So as simple as that. I keep saying this in all my videos, I recommend that you get some type of power box. If you're in a BMW, the Hex EasyCan is the most simple one to do because it has ignition switch power. Now I've got the little dog here, he's gone mad. Come here. Come here, here you go. So yeah, I recommend that you get some kind of box, whether it's the Hex EasyCan or one of the other, there's loads of them in the market. And that will just make your life easier if you're planning on putting spotlights or whatever else in. It's safer and it's easier. So anyway, I'm going to get on with the wiring. And this is little Hugo, by the way, so I need to keep him occupied as well while I'm here. And I'll be wiring this first, then I'll get on with the rest of it. Thanks. Okay, first things first is I'm going to join these two from the wiring for the Alien Rider to the positive wire coming out of my power box. So these will just join together. I'll put them into a connector and then I usually just tape them up. So I've got the connector here. It's up to you how, there's lots of different connectors you can buy. It's up to you whichever one you want to use, or if you want to do the old-fashioned way and just tape them up together, you can do that as well. So I just use one of these and then I tape it up. And it's as simple as that for the positive. And then negative, I'm going to ground to the frame here. I already have one other item grounded in here, so I'm going to just add it in there. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is put the bracket for the display itself onto the bike, and I'm going to put it here in the mirror. And I'm using the 8mm spacers that come with it. There's a whole load of different spacers, so you should be able to find something to make most things fit to wherever you need it to go to. So this just goes on like this. Okay, I'll adjust this when I'm ready to put the unit on, but it's pretty secure here. The cameras come with 3M very high bond tape, and there's also 2 holes for screws if you want to screw them in. I think I'm just going to mount it here on the beak of the bike, and then I can angle it to wherever I need it to be. And then the wires are going to be fed through here up into where it needs to go. So let's give this a clean here. Just make sure the tape bonds properly. Generally the tape is enough to hold these things in place. They generally don't move much once they're on. And you can just angle this to wherever it needs to be. I'll probably cable tie this wire underneath. So there's a minimum amount of wiring showing from here. So next I'm mounting the rear cam onto the top box because I hardly ever take the top box off, so this isn't an issue for me. If it's for you, then you can put it somewhere else. That's perfect, so I can angle this and just to whatever it needs to be. So I'll be running the wires under the seat and up to the tank where this needs to go. Right, so the blind side detector is going to go here. Same on the other side of the top box. Again, I'm just using the 3M very high bond tape to hold this in place. And same with this wire, I'm going to run that under the seat up to the tank. So last thing to fit is the tire pressure monitors. Now on these, they're marked as AFW and BRW. AFW is the front wheel and BRW is the rear wheel. Okay, so that's everything connected up. I haven't put everything back together, the tank and everything, because I like to test and make sure everything's working first before I go and do that. Now, one thing to note, this isn't a clear protector on this just now. I thought it was, and I thought I was going mad when I was switching on and nothing was happening. It's black. So make sure you remove it to test. I spent nearly 20 minutes checking all the wiring, wondering what the hell's going wrong. Well, they're showing the tire pressures there as 2.2 and 2.5. So it's going to tire pressure monitors and stuff, so it's an abnormal tire pressure. But I think the instructions say that we need to set that all up. I just want to check the cameras more than anything. Right, so I just want to check out all that's working before I start putting all the wiring away neatly and put the tank cover back on and the seat back on. So that all seems fine. So that's the Alien Rider M2 Pro fully fitted. The display's here, camera on the front beak, blind side detector on the back and the rear cam on the back and the tire pressure monitors. Next step will be just me setting up the CarPlay, which is fairly straightforward, and calibrating the tire pressure monitors. I think I have to do that from the user guide. It seems to say that it needs to be done. One thing I'll say is the user guide that comes with the Alien Rider M2 Pro is actually really good. It's one of those that actually does make sense and you can follow it. And also, to give credit to Alien Rider, there's lots of spare parts like extra screws, cable ties, even a screen protector for the display. So you have everything that you're going to need, or if you lose a couple of screws, you've got them. They've even put spare screws for the slot for the micro SD card to go in here. Which I also have to put one in here as well. But it's quite a thoughtful laid out system, so you should have minimal problems when fitting, same as I did.